Hi guys, so I want to give you all my quick perspective on the GloRilla situation where her sister came out to the public and stated that although GloRilla has made it and she's famous now, she's not helping her family. Okay, so I want to first say this. It is no one's responsibility to assist you in any way on the planet except the beings who brought you into the planet. That's your parents' responsibility to bring you into a position where you're financially stable, you have access to the best education, you have access to a proper living space, and you're eating daily, whatever. I understand that they've had food insecurities and things like that, and it sounds very unfortunate. It seems like they have grown up in an extremely unfortunate situation, okay? But it's no one's fault but their mother and father. It's not GloRilla's fault that she and her siblings were starving to death and they had rats and roaches and they were living in an unfortunate way and they didn't have access to the best education. They shouldn't have been brought onto the planet in that type of condition in the first place. Do you all understand what I'm saying? So, from that perspective, yes, it was wrong for her sister to come out and say those things about her and just blast her family's business. First of all, that is so embarrassing to tell anyone that you grew up in that way. I didn't grow up in that way. However, I did grow up in the hood. I didn't have access to the best education and all that shit. I had to work for my education. I had to ensure that education was a priority for me, even though it wasn't a priority for my parents. I ensured that it was a priority for me, and I was encouraged by my grandma to be, good in school, and also by my mom to be, be great at school. But I already had that in me to strive since elementary school to be great. I've always valued education. So although our parents may not have raised us in the proper way, unfortunately, it is still our responsibility to find a way to survive on the planet. In the easiest way possible, for the lack of a better word. Although we weren't taught certain things, for example, a lot of people weren't taught to handle their emotions. They weren't taught to how to treat others, how to, carry themselves with self-respect, how to survive on the planet, and not only survive, live a good life. A lot of people, especially those born into poverty, weren't taught those type of things. But unfortunately, we still have to learn them. As we become older, we must understand that we still have to evolve. The things that my parents didn't teach me, I still had to learn. We must still evolve, although we were born into unfortunate situations. So the real issue is when the sister came out and said the mother and father, or the siblings, were asking the mother and father for money. Who else were they supposed to ask? Your parents are responsible for you. And a lot of them don't even want to be parents. I'm just going to go ahead and be honest with you. They hate that they have to invest in you emotionally, mentally, physically, financially. A lot of them don't even want the responsibility of being a parent. But it's not your siblings' fault. It's your parents' fault. It's not the world's fault. It's your parents' fault for bringing you onto the planet in these type of conditions and situations. Bringing children onto the planet in the most precarious situations. What type of respect do one believes they deserve? And that's just what that is. While she's cussing her sister out, she needs to be addressing her mother and father and asking them, why the fuck did you have 10, 11, 12 children living that way? The parents need to be checked. Why the fuck would you do something like that? Before one gives birth or impregnate, think of it this way. If you were the child who you are creating, would you want parents like yourself? People are bringing souls onto this planet in the most precarious and horrible situations possible. It's disgusting. It's so scary, y'all. Sometimes the parents even have money and they still abuse the children. Like, there has to be, this shit needs to stop. There has to be something. There needs to be a criterion, requirements before giving birth. You must have mental checks. You must have financial checks. Physical checks, to ensure that your DNA is okay and you're not passing down mental illnesses or other conditions that, other disabilities that would make the child's life even more horrible. Make sure financial checks, make sure you have enough money to pay for this child, because it is the parents' responsibility to educate the children. Yes, you can send them off to school, but it's your responsibility to ensure that they're getting the best education, and it's your responsibility to pay for their college. If you're not going to pay for their college or their education, why the fuck would you give birth? What is the purpose? Like, sometimes it just makes me think, why the fuck are these motherfuckers even giving birth? They don't even like these children. Why? You're giving birth to them just so they can live the same life that you lived? You don't even want to invest in your children, invest in the next generation? Then what is the point? If you don't have any pride in them, if you're not going to handle them in a respectful way, what is the fucking point of giving birth to children and impregnating women in poverty? Can somebody tell me this? Bitch, did I miss the memo? And this is exactly why I don't have children, and I'm never giving birth. Number one, I would never want my children on this planet dealing with racism and sexism and having to carry weapons and be, it's always somebody's fucking murderous ass son, psychotic serial killer ass son running around and shit. They would have to learn how to protect themselves, mentally, physically, spiritually, because humans aren't even taught what the fuck, humans aren't even taught what the fuck is really going on a spiritual level. They're still believing in religion and Jesus and all this silly shit, getting fucked up. Christians stay getting fucked up because the religion is fake. I'm not saying everything in the Bible is fake, no, but Jesus is not saving anybody. The people who are worshiping Jesus live in the worst conditions possible. And let me tell you this, if you are living in horrible conditions, why are you worshiping? Why are you giving that type of energy to someone who's not helping you in any way? Let's talk about that. I'm a magician. I've worked with spirits before. There is no way that I would be continuing to work with the spirit if I know I wouldn't getting what the fuck I needed. First of all, you shouldn't be worshiping anything. I don't give a fuck if there was a God. I believe there is a God. I'm not about to be worshiping it. Why the fuck would I be worshiping God, a God on this planet, when most of the fucking planet is in third world, starving to death and working like slaves? Is that what would you let your child live in those type of conditions? Because you all are saying that you're a child of God. Would you allow your child to live in the worst conditions possible? And let me tell you this, a lot of y'all would. A lot of these motherfuckers would. So I guess that's why they don't see anything wrong with it, because they believe that this is okay. You know what I mean? They believe that it's okay to live in famine. It's okay to live in the worst conditions possible. No food, no access to food, water, education, a good living space, mental rest. So I believe this is why they think that God loves them, because they believe their God allows them to live this way so they can, and they allow their children to live the same way. I don't know I don't get it. You know, I actually use my brain to think about things and live in reality. No matter how hard it is, I accept reality no matter how hard it is, because I can't make a plan that would evolve myself from lies. If I'm being told lies and I'm attempting to create a plan for myself for evolution, it would fail because the plan was built on lies. You must accept the truth. Okay, so here I am today saying that I disagree with GloRilla's sister coming out asking for help. Should you help your siblings? Sure, if you feel like it. You're not obligated to help anybody. You're allowed to have self-preservation and assist yourself. This planet is so fucking hard to live on. Most people cannot save anybody. If your God won't save you, bitch, how the fuck am I supposed to save you? Do you understand what I'm saying? You know, this shit has to make sense. So, no. Her sisters, her brothers, her siblings need to address their parents on how they lived as children. GloRilla doesn't owe anybody anything. She made it against all odds. And the learning story is, stop bringing children onto the planet in precarious positions. If you do not have the resources to provide for the children, and I'm not only talking about financial resources, I'm talking about mentally, emotionally, everything. Stop giving birth. Stop impregnating. You're not a candidate for children. Children deserve everything that they need to not strive, okay, to survive and survive well. Some of you all can't handle this truth. Address your parents for the way they brought you onto the planet. It's no one else's fault. A lot of people are jealous of people who have money and have this and have that and have parents to invested in them. You cannot be jealous because somebody grew up in a great environment. Their parents gave a fuck about them to do that. Okay? Address your parents and ask them, why didn't they give a fuck about you? And once we do that, I feel like it'll change some situations. Put pressure on these parents to stop bringing children onto the planet in horrible conditions. There should be some shame there. There's no one else's responsibility to help you or take care of you. And a lot of parents, that's why they cut the children off at 18, because they didn't give a fuck about them in the first place. They didn't want to help them. And they definitely not finna help you after 18, because they didn't want to have you in the first place. At 18, you're an adult. And at 18, you're an adult child. That's still a teenager. They don't know what the fuck is going on out here. They gonna get into the world and find out and probably get fucked up because you're so fucking dumb. You didn't teach them anything. Or they're gonna learn the hard way and become hardened because they have to go through so much shit. They have to learn shit that you didn't teach them. You all gonna have to get this shit straightened out. Okay. It's my opinion on it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.